I'ma be doing. I know you don't know what you're doing. You are just some old that be moving. Tell me, are you Jones? Are you choosing? I done put the coals through my music. On and 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 on. I know you don't know what you're doing. As a flying ball. The picture frame that I got that I drew. The future is looking hot in pursuit. My homie look here and not in my view. How about this again? I hop in a group, then pull a right on a block, ducking juice. The man in the front, I'm not in a groove. But I'm connected well, hoping everyone extra well. Bitches be wet as hell, now I need me an extra well. Yeah, you never heard nobody rap like this. You don't really know if it's fast or slow. Only thing you know is pack or piss. You wanna go on some war with me? You might just think it's an action flick. Don't give a fuck about hate and hoes. Never gonna do me a magic trick. Nigga look, you just a rapper, bitch. You ain't saying nothing, you just put words together. I don't even take this serious, but everyone heard I'm better. I be fucking with the birds with feathers. The one getting got discretion. Yeah, I'm at the leader, but you can just follow me when you ain't got no direction. Set full of footprints, I gotta step in. I really don't know what I'm doing. FBI coming to my life right now, you know I'm gonna do it. Don't just do it. I know you don't know what you're doing. You are just some hope that be moving. Tell me, are you Jones? Are you choosing? I done put the coals through my music. On and 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 on. I know you don't know what you're doing. As a flying ball. Who is here? Don't make this sense, you can't tell who is who. You keep acting stupid like Scooby-Doo. That's the reason why I ain't cool with you. Yeah.
This is good, just so spiritual. Now we're gonna go to some place in the astral world. Maybe you could pull some sounds from there and stuff like that. Maybe you could pull some metaphysics and stuff like that. Get your tea steam game up for hot chocolate and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Whipped cream float on the top of the paws. See the steam. Get your tea steam game up. That's the only way a lot of y'all gonna be exuberated or stuff like that. A lot of y'all don't need nothing, no drug or nothing like that. You need an intoxicant though. You need a release system, mentally and physically. Mentally, condense and become physically, so it got the same attributes. So when you find things in nature like teas, coffees, some of y'all can't do the coffee, hot chocolate, or whatever the case may be, you'll start to realize you could be sitting on your monkey start taking a few sips, your body feel like you probably just did like 15 push-ups or something like that. Or a lot of y'all, that's all y'all could do, or whatever the case would be. Or y'all say a lot of y'all just feel like y'all just took a holy jog in the park, or whatever the case would be. You see how you won half of the battle by just doing things with God. Already done burnt all the exoxidants, DNA parasites that was stuck in your stomach from the Taco Bell chicken McNuggets and stuff. Oh, look at that. The Taco Bell chicken McNuggets. Oh, man. Real spiritual energies we get ready to get into, so you can understand what it actually means to be chosen too. And we're gonna get into the energies because it's getting ready to be happy flight day season for goddamn Geminis. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna break down where the moon at and those particular energies before we get deep. And we're gonna break down the chosen, what it actually means, because it's always a personal journey. If it was something here that was before you, think about a monkey. Ain't had no other monkeys around before figured out, oh, I can hop this gate and I can leave SeaWorld. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of monkeys come out of the water sea gate. No, for that. Hammerhead, shark face. No, for that. But a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? Think about a monkey or whatever. That was a personal journey. Now, whatever that monkey choose to blame that justification on to get the other monkeys to escape from the zoo, you know what I'm saying? Safari jungle. You know what I'm saying? Goddamn SeaWorld, Geauga Lake. Well, however the case it may be, right? See the point. But however the monkey may have got over the cross, right? It was a personal journey or whatever. So it could justify it as the win. It could justify that. But it took a brain neuron that another brain neuron didn't take, because they still in the zoo in the monkey jungle right now. You know what I'm saying? Still in the goddamn wet sea forest right now. A lot of monkey people, kids and grandkids, and paying money to go see and stuff like that. Last time I went to a concert, that's all I thought I was looking at. Last time I went to a movie theater, that's all I thought I was looking at. Oh, you thought I was actually talking about actual animals. Oh, y'all monkeys in cages. It's somebody else getting paid. They wages with some good cuddling weather right now. Other than that. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's some spiritual energies you need to learn. So when a monkey getting that, it could be that monkey went through something personal. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, whether you that personal thing or you're following something that had to do something personal. And when you're internal, it ain't really following. It's you doing something like something else, whether you knew it was there or not. You might not know that monkey was there. You took that same mental path neuron and you got out the zoo, safari cave, Cedar Point jungle. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, boom, you free. Your spirit naked. You know what I'm saying? Your spirit, you never feel like that before. You ain't gonna never want to go back. Never go back to them old dirty cloths like Kanye West esoteric clothing or something like that. Same way I look at the physical world, it look like that in the spiritual esoteric world too. Holes all in your shirt and stuff like that. In the physical world, holes all in your argument, holes all in your stability, unstable. Yeah, I said I'm degenerate. It's the same energy. It's the same. Shout out to Kanye West. You know, says get ready to be a flight day season. You know, y'all know I be in the energies when y'all be thinking it's always a reason for everything. I'm just more intelligent than a lot of y'all. So a lot of times when I'm saying something, you might just be thinking, oh, Dolo, he be on a line like this. Like, no, there's always a synchronicity and stuff like this. Get ready to be Gemini season. Perfect allegory person to put into what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can see by example before we get to that season, if you a Gemini or not a Gemini, what to do and what not to do. Perfect example. Kanye, what? Oh, I'm saying, there's a lot of other ones out there too. A lot of other ones right there. The first one hit the mind. First one hit the mind. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a lot of cloudiness about decision-making qualities about what we should be running our mouth about or not. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's gonna be the main focus right there. A lot of focus is centering in on should you say that or not? Should you be thinking that or not? Should you lock that down with Abaddon? Or if you choose to communicate that, you're gonna reap what you sow. You know what I'm saying? So y'all got to be careful on what y'all be listening to right now. If you wasn't practical and wasn't initiating your own way of seeing and feeling about something to get that independence, to substantiate yourself and get fixated in, so even people who know you be like, that's what that person care about because they fixated in it. And you're supposed to already have got the results of if it's stubborn and you keep doing the same thing, getting the same results if it's negative, or this is consistent. Yeah, keep doing the same thing because that's positive. It's going down the right route. Then when the sun going to Gemini, we all talking about it in a good way or whatever. Now, if you ain't do that the right way, you ain't develop your independence when the sun was in Aries, you independently crutch on someone else's independence or something like that. So for you to feel independent is for the sake of sacrifice of someone else, you know. Then that's why a lot of y'all got child support bills right now. Then when it gets into the stability energy, when you think you're stable, you're fixated on something, somebody else is the screws and bolts of that table foundation. Then when the sun going to Gemini, that's all we get ready to be talking about and stuff like that. How you full of shit. How you ain't come up with that? No, you ain't stable on that. You ain't fixated on it. You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff we're gonna be thinking about and talking about in community. So you don't want to be on the wrong side of the universe because you trying to show your ass out here in the world. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got nothing to be showing your ass for, retreat. You know what I'm saying? Go back and figure out where you sun's behind, moon's behind, recalibrate. You might have to play catch up, but the sooner the better. And you don't want to be 10 years behind, 20 years behind like other people, especially the people just now getting out of marriages and stuff like that. Feel like, oh, I lost 20 years of my life. 20 years, you just wasn't shit in them 20 years. It ain't got nothing to do with your whole life. It ain't got nothing to do with that. Them 20 years, you knew exactly what you was doing. You was a non-individual. You was an ain't individual for good 20 years. It's just when you trying to change, now it got something to do with everybody else and why you want to get, no, you damn well know what you was doing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't fooling nobody. Y'all humans think y'all fooling. Some of y'all was in a relationship with y'all jobs, y'all badge. I'm a PhD and just now like, oh, ain't nothing. I ain't getting no money from that. Half my insurance plan still got me broke. Not to say it ain't nothing wrong with these things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? I'm just, giving people the day-to-day perspective of the regular people in the world. You know what I'm saying? Before you get online, lost on TikTok, IG, get lost on damn Twitters and Snapchats and YouTubes and stuff like that, Facebooks, and think that rapper or someone trying to make you jealous is really for real. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know, no, that person trying to make you jealous, no, their relationship is the same way how it was when you was with them. You know what I'm saying? Ain't you know what I'm saying? No, that celebrity in the same situation you in, renting. You know what I'm saying? You're renting things. So you gotta be careful when y'all be this lost and stuff like that. I don't know what you looking at. Do you know what you looking at? You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what y'all looking at. That's an animated picture and stuff. They look like they somewhere across country, across the water on new boats and stuff like that you ain't never floated on before. They put that price up under it, talking about, yeah, you can come right now, $50 for a ride. And they made it sound like that. You get there, it's an arm and a leg. You got lost. So, you see what I'm saying? You got lost on Snapchats and Facebooks. You know what I'm saying? Also, how you know they ain't get that picture from somewhere else? How you know that picture ain't years old? They went on that vacation or something like that, like 10 years ago. How you don't know that? Like something like the water and stuff that's being shown was 10 years old water or something like that. They was in the country of Tobago or something like that 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? How you don't even know these things of that nature, but you go get ready to be like, oh, I like this rapper. Saying, oh, this person trying to make me jealous or whatever the case may be. You don't even know that their grandma took them on that trip. You talking about, oh, no, so they going on new relationship trips now? Oh, they trying to make me jealous because we ain't going on relationship trips? Well, you get ready to go broke for no reason. You know what I'm saying? You get ready to go broke for no reason. I'll tell you that right now. Did you learn anything from Taurus season? Did you learn anything from Beaver Pelt season? There was a lot of y'all over exaggerating what was in your bank accounts and things of that nature that you have to recalibrate and be like, wait a minute, I'm unstable. Let me get back to work. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want the sun get ready to go into Gemini, and everybody just talking about that. Everybody talking about how you made a mistake because you was unstable and you got to get back to work. And that played like in everybody's life in its own type of way. No matter what, a lot of y'all probably ain't even got no job because it ain't always about jobs. A lot of y'all didn't show people what y'all care about when it came to your creative attributes or whatever the case may be. Then you got the nerve to slide off somewhere and procrastinate. You know, your emotions is damaged or something like that. So you want to slide up. Of course, people let the sun go into Gemini. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get out of that funk real quick. You're going to be like, oh, no, it ain't about my feelings. I don't want people talking about me or thinking about me in this way. No, I am about my business. You better hurry up. You know what I'm saying? Gemini's fast. Speed up. Mercury shoes, man. Hermes. You know what I'm saying? Not no Hermes purse. I know y'all might have heard that first when y'all female. Y'all like, oh, Hermes, oh, Birkin. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm talking about stuff floating in the sky that somebody from Europe made. I'm talking about that. I ain't talking about what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? Now, they might got made in Europe on the taggers. That's a different story. Other than that, you know what I'm saying? Get your T-Steam game up. See, that's the problem right now. Y'all be having y'all T-Steam games up and stuff like that. Y'all all be dry, all be stiff. Your bone marrows be stiff and stuff like that. You gotta get y'all bodies loose. Get your mind loose first. If your mind ain't loose, your body ain't gonna be loose. You got stiff mind states. It's gonna manifest as you being stiff, binge watching something all day. Now you got arthritis and you ain't even got arthritis. You know what I'm saying? You 19 years old, goddamn, you got a brain murmur or something like that, or eczema on the left eardrum or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta figure out what's wrong with you or something like that. Get to moving. Your blood ain't moving. Your mind ain't moving. Once your mind start moving free, your body will start moving a little bit more free. So you got to understand those energies. But if you don't understand that, for the most part, you might get into, this is wrong with Gen Z. They get into a depressing thought. It become all the way they organs manufactured. So they organs be depressed. So even when they get into those energies of being happy and stuff, it's like smaller on a percentage scale of all the energy they added into the negativity. So that's going to play out physically first. So you think about having old people problems and stuff like that at the age of 17 and stuff like that. You start looking at it like 19 and stuff like that. Now we ain't even know you're supposed to be in juvenile because your mugshot looked like Kodak Black. You know what I'm saying? Lil Pump. You know what I'm saying? Then we start to think like, wait a minute, how's they in juvenile or whatever like that? You know what I'm saying? So if they supposed to be charged as an adult, they look like they mind is well past their years. I think they might need to be charged as an adult. You know what I'm saying? I still get ID to this day. Guarantee. You know, not the stores I normally go to. Let me go to a store I normally go to, which sometimes I do. I still get ID to this day. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Kodak Black got to worry about it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? That little puppy. Hey, that's a problem. And these cats a little past Gen Z a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So we got to, like a lot of y'all try to give P. Diddy, no Diddy, you know, y'all try to give P. Diddy sons credit. Because it been embedded in our brain. This cat damn near my age. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like it's like embedded in our brain, Diddy sons or something. He's grown, staying in that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, shit. Hey, they did it too. You know what I'm saying? No, shout out to Diddy kids. Shout out to Diddy son. But we got to stick in our head. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been programmed. We these grown ass. You know what I'm saying? Way past 21. They had never seen 21, 24, 5 again. You know what I'm saying? I still think who we giving credit to sometimes. You know what I'm saying? We gotta think we gotta replace words sometimes. We be thinking about, let's get into this live stream. Now, for the most part, here's the thing. When it comes to if you chosen, it's a play on words. See, you could get lost into objectifying things, separating it from yourself. Or you could look at things from a personal perspective as understanding all starting points come from what you gonna do first. What you gonna do. And then you end up being an example for others based upon to show them what they need to do. When you be an example for others, trying to make them do exactly what you did, here's where you become egotistic. Here's where you become even a narcissist. Here's where you become a cult leader and things of that nature. Because a person may not get to your path specifically your way. But a person might just need a direction. But one person may have a spiritual ankle problem. So you might have got there faster. One person might get there faster than you. But how did that concept of what they created or that stability to be able to get there faster than you may have got it from another comfort zone. So they may be more distracted with that before going in your area. So you got to wake a person up on their gifts and be like, hey, direct it in this area or however the case may be. It might be another person that refused to go in that direction or path. It might be another person that got their own ego problems, so they want to know how to get somewhere themselves without the assistance of somebody else. Hold on, y'all need a tissue real quick. So a lot of times when you're trying to control someone the exact way you did it, you're missing the nuances of something. And you forgot that how you got there was constructed your personal way. You may have had an ankle problem that it took you time to develop the motivation and to get up to go do it. Other people got other situations that got its own time and frame. So you just point someone in a direction and give someone their own space to have their own spiritual responsibility of how to get to that destination. And it ain't the destination that matters. It's the how. And how is you taught a person to do something that you did, that God did first. Do something personal. And when you try to control too much of a person's personal circumstance, you're going to meet resistance anyway. Even if you got the best advice in the world, you're going to meet all kind of resistance. And that person, you may manifest a relationship with that individual that they create stubborn circumstances and situations of, I told you so from your perspective, but a lot of time a spirit wouldn't care. They'll bump their head a lot of times in front of you to even see if their way was right because they still was holding on to this something that's a personal growth. It's a personal responsibility for me to get somewhere. So this is where that concept come from in the right way that God to give grace to, that cliche term, if I'm wrong, I don't want to be right. Because you don't want another person reminding you something that you're supposed to already know, but then forcing their will, like without them, that's the only way you would know it. And then deep down, even if it's something in the physical world, we all created as a social norm to make it appear that way. Deep down inside, the spirit to know that, man, this is something I was supposed to be aware of as a possibility, just like anybody else or whatever, because I got a brain just like this person. So even though I wasn't focused on that at the moment, I still had my way of conducting things. So let me see how far I could go with that. Then a lot of times it'll play out negative if we in a synthetic world, because it'll be you trying to prove a wrong or prove a negative by being negative just to see if it actually worked. Then we created a lot of circumstances around it too, because like we created crash out energies you can get paid for all going down too far that path in the spiritual world. You know what I'm saying? So do you end up having no integrity as long as we got that check behind it? Get your T-Steam game up and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing, right? When it comes into chosen, right? It's a play on words. So when you understand everything is from a personal perspective, that's when you understand, okay, when you saying I'm chosen, you're not putting that on the on the backs of someone else who's possibly ain't chosen or whatever they made up to be called chosen. So you're not lost in validation or people pleasing energy to be chose by any particular external concept. You're understanding when you say I've chosen, you're saying I chose something. Now when you pull back every layer and you get to decision making qualities from the spirit and what kind of mentality you're going to make, right? Because we make the mind, and that condense and become the body, then we create the external world. Now you back in order. So when you say I chosen, I chosen, you can either go two routes, which it's in order, and you can get out of order with one or the other. So keep that in mind too. But you could either choose the mind, right? You could choose spiritual choices, right? So your individual spirit is the soul. So the mind or body, when the soul chooses when the soul chooses the body, right? If the soul chooses the body, then this means you have to use your mind for the body. If your spirit, your soul, individual spirit just means multiple space, and you have your own individual space, soul. So for the most part, when the spirit chooses the body, right, it has to use the mind for things of the body, right? Now, I don't want y'all to have this in your mind yet as was negative or positive, because there's a lot of previous people that may have went down similar paths and may have made concepts about it or religions about it and things, where a lot of times it's just based upon decision, and you still have to balance these things out. But knowing what's in order and playing that out more on a percentage scale will make things play more out in your favor and things of that nature. And when I say in your favor, try to not justify that on the piggybackers of your biases and what you want from the external world, that it takes other people's personal effort to have you in a situation where your personal is in a comfort zone or whatever. Not being able to be in a position at times where, you know, you have to sacrifice yourself for someone else in that position, and you have to give something for someone else to be in a comfort zone. And a lot of times we miss that aspect, that give and receive energy. So for the most part, we end up looking at the world from a selfish lens and thinking everything happening to us when we're separated from our bias that we ain't look at as part of an accumulation to know that there's someone else who may deserve a piece of that in some way, shape, or form. And we can't be so self-centered. That's how God would take the whole thing and you thinking you was doing something good because it was going good. But here's the thing, as the spirit, when the spirit chooses the body, it has to use the mind for the body. Now, when the soul, the spirit chooses the mind, right, it has to use the body for the mind. So you could kind of have this in your mind as what kind of path and what, because you're doing both, but which one do you choose more on a percentage scale? And I don't want y'all to think about it as negative or positive. And even yet, because one could be more positive or negative than the other based on what particular circumstances that you're going through. So you still have to learn equilibrium. But from an overall objectivity, not a subjective concept, but an objective concept, you still have to act out one higher on a percentage scale than the other. And that's just acting out in order. And if you know it's the spirit, the soul, then the mind, then the body, then the external world, then that lets you know what to act out accordingly when you're separating from your own biases and still have to utilize your bias. So not letting your own bias get in the way of what you're separating or have to sacrifice your own interest or bias for the greater good in some way, shape, or form, and all kind of layers. So, but just in a nutshell, when it comes to each particular in our circumstances, right? If your spirit chooses the body, then you have to use the mind for things of your body. So that's like, I see religious this habit into material, but it could be just things that put you in a comfortable space physically and how it may be perceived from outside looking in from others if we have created a social norm around what we're considering what we need to obtain to feel comfortable, or however the case may be. This would be you using your mind to come up with all kind of ideas to do these things physically or have these physical representations in some way, shape, or form. Now, other way around, if you are a spirit that chose the mind, then you have to use the mind for the body and things of that nature. I mean, then you have to use the body for the mind. You have to use your body for things you have on your mind. This is what you're going to start to realize, though. There's a lot of things you can't do with your body that you can do. I mean, that you have on your mind, right? So it's about either you're going to go into a self-doubt and think that's nothing and get into like some type of atheist, rationalist from irrational dichotomy concept, right? Or is you going to test the limits and start to be more relatable and sync on what you can actually do that mimics the mind a little bit by access of the external world. For an example, right? When you in this space, there's a situation where, let's say we needed to create a ladder, but a ladder didn't exist yet. So the individual that may be in a percentage scale of using the body, right, and having to use the mind for the having to use the body, the mind for the body, right, probably would never make up a concept of chopping down tree branches to create a ladder so we can get to a higher part of the tree to get the fruit or whatever. They just come up with some regular substantiated concept that makes sense already without coming up with another imagination. That the best thing that makes sense to them is, yeah, we know that eventually the fruit become ripe and it's going to fall from them heavy branches anyway. So let's just and then a lot of other ways that's like letting things play out naturally and stuff like that. So they got a lot of good qualities to both parts. Then you got the other aspect, right, where your mind start to wonder. And let's say you have this wonder thought, hey, what if we can get those higher branch fruits now? Now, once you start there, you created a spaceship, your spirit created another thought. So you jumped in that bubble as a spirit and start to float around to add other angles to it. Now, other angles is other ideas and feelings. And then you like, maybe now you start adding other ideas. Chop down these branches we can get, and then make a staircase or a ladder that can go up the tree. Because after that, we're going to get into tree houses and all kind of stuff. But for the most part, I'm just giving y'all a grounding. So when a person spirit chooses the mind, then the body got to do things that the mind wants it to do. So it might be times that it get hurt, that the other side of the fence could be like, see, you shouldn't be trying to do things that we can't do. Climb high stuff or chop down stuff. You get hurt or whatever. But if a person know how to match it and sync and be relatable, be like, yeah, I can't jump off no building, aka, yeah, I know I can't climb high without these tree branches or whatever the case may be. Maybe I can make something that I can do in reality. Then when they start to balance out of doing the body things for the mind and having the mind do things for the body, they was more in the spirit in order first. So they'd be able to do something creative and create a new substantiated way for someone who probably chose the body and then got to use the mind for stuff for the body. But a person who chose the mind and got to use the body for stuff for the mind start to create things where other people can say, where you get that idea from? You did that in mysterious ways. I didn't know that was possible. Or all the way down to the most surface level of it. That was a good idea. I wish I could have thought of that. So for the most part, when a person chooses the mind, and we're not in so many social norms that make us too rooted into a false sense of reality, here's where humanity start to play out its charm. Here's where humanity get back to that gem. Here's where humanity get back to that creative gold and things of that nature, where you chose the mind, and then now you extending the body to do things for the mind. And then for the most part, once you learn that it ain't just fully doing everything in the mind, it's finding how much you can be relatable with the things that's in the physical, then for the most part, that's the joining of two energies to create something new. And that's how we process and make organs in the first place. So just acting these energies out bring new things into the world. You see what I'm saying? And then for the most part, this is how you start to see that you doing things like God based upon a personal journey, and you chose. So you have to know what you're choosing. So already, if you're in an equilibrium space, you know if you're saying I'm chosen is predicated on someone outside of you who probably sweat and piss just like you, right? Then your ability to be chosen is predicated on egotistical purposes, and whoever's validating you have a bigger ego than you. So these could be only things that end up becoming outdated or whatever, or false sense of what it means to be chosen. But when a person actually choose, it plays out as a person feeling like they chose their destiny, but they may not know how to explain it the way I explained it. But it's basically you being in this spiritual space. And when you say I'm chosen, it's I chose the mind. So my body has to do things for my mind, or I chose the body. So my mind has to do things for my body. Now, if you want to do things in order, then it's you choosing the mind. So your body has to do things for your mind because your mind is doing things for your spirit. If you get out of order, it's you choosing the body. So your mind have to do things for your body and your spirit could get lost because if you start to lack the development of awarenesses and ideas and angles, then you only start to lean on the only ones you currently have created and the successes of it. And then for the most part, you're not going to understand why they burnt out. So it's you trying to over exaggerate or redo or overcompensate, which plays out in the reality of narcissist, egotistical, not letting something go, and being a guilt trip or harnessing over what they call that grudges in some way, shape, or form. And a lot of these grudges is because of yourself, because your inability to let go of something that have already have condensed into the physical and played its part in the external world when it comes into what comes after the physical. So that's how you say I'm chosen. You know what I'm saying? Because you have chose, and whatever personal circumstance was in that space before you, right? If you want to give it to something outside of that, you could say you chosen because you had the ability to see that where someone else wasn't able to see that. So if you want to get lost in a social norm, that thing you was able to see and that whole experience in itself is still separate from you, but it was something you was able to experience. So whether you want to call it God or the universe, you could say it chose me to be able to see it, but it took you to open your eyes to walk towards it so you could realize that's what you're seeing or whatever the case may be. So that's where you might get into your own conundrum a little bit on this personal journey we all take. And when it comes time to, if you in the ego on a high percentage scale or not, when it comes time to explain it to another individual. And then that's for everybody own journey and own experience and own way to interpret whatever that they have experienced for themselves. But that's the true concept of chosen. You know what I'm saying? You have chosen a path, and these paths come with set circumstances, but one is slightly out of order, but you still have to participate, and one is in order. And sometimes you may get discouraged based upon how much effort you may have to put in, and y'all could kind of put in your mind which of that may be. Now when it comes into the alignment angel between everybody's sun and moon, this is kind of how you deal with yourself internally and things of that nature. So before you even create external relationships, this is the relationship you have within yourself. So your sun sign represents your actions and how you see things and how you go about things. But what are you seeing? What are you acting on? And how do you want to appear to be? But how do you adjust it? That's going to be the moon sign, your internal energy. So your moon sign modality and element is what you're constructing internally, but how you go about it and how it appears to be and how it's seen is the sun sign. So this is what makes everybody's sun sign different also, and based upon their location and their living conditions, all of that is important also. But for the most part, your moon is what you're developing as a reactionary energy internally before you start to set action to show something externally, and it gets filtered through the sun sign and be seen. So you can kind of look at the angle and the alignment between your sun and moon on how you express yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like for an example, if it's a square between your sun and your moon, right? You may have struggle or minor frustrations when it comes into expressing yourself because the way you feel is in one area. If it's a square, it's in a different sign and a different element, yet it's in the same location as your sun. So they're in the same position with two different ideas, two different elements or whatever. And you have to use both of these as an internal relationship. So a lot of times, yeah, you have a set goal and you're fixated on it, but your way of going about it or your way of expressing it may create minor frustrations or blockages or just misunderstandings on how you see these things. You may even be indecisive a lot of times because you may feel like, yeah, I want to be fixated in something, but you don't know what you want to be fixated in, right? If it's mutable, you may feel like you want to be, if it's a mutable square, you may feel like it's something to change, adjust, or add to, but you may not know what's there to change, adjust, or to do. So a lot of times you go through that little frustration. If it's a square cardinal or whatever the case may be, you may feel the necessary need to initiate and create, but it might not be nothing there to initiate and create yet or whatever. So for the most part, it's like the lone wolf energies when it comes into the squares energy. A person has to develop their own understanding before they develop too many misunderstandings when they're interacting with other individuals. And a lot of people who are squares between their sun and their moon may not always reach that luxury at an early age. It may take them a lot of fights with themselves and family members or other misunderstandings with other people and strangers until they realize a lot of times they're trying to get an understanding about themselves based off the reactions of others and things. So when a person is frustrated with themselves, they may cause frustrating situations with others or strangers at times to see how far their own frustration is in some way, shape, or form. And based off the reaction, that'll let them know if they're tripping or not, if someone go more extreme on them than them. And a lot of times this is sun and moon square signs. You see what I'm saying? So the square energies is when it's in the same modality but different element. So a lot of times your heart space, your internal energy, and how you see the external world or how you get ready to express it be in two different lands. And a lot of times you may create frustration with other individuals because you may attract people that may think you're one way until the situation calls for you to show them some other way in some way, shape, or form. So you may attract them based upon your moon, but people only see your sun. So a lot of times it creates a misunderstanding where your moon has to come out through your sun, and then sometimes it'd be based off frustrating scenarios, or just scenarios where you had to do that for a person to understand where you coming from, because there was some type of, and a lot of females go through this problem when your sun and your moon is squaring each other, because you might give certain gestures for negative or positive, and it might not even be how you truly feel, but your actions may show one thing, and then and vice versa. Your actions may show one thing. I mean, the way you feel may be one thing, but your actions are showing another, and then your actions may be showing something, but your emotion, but it's just doing that to protect some other type of emotion in some type of way. But it's still open yourself for mistakes. So a lot of times the sun and the moon, when it comes to females, if they square signs, this was sometimes they may just trying to be nice, and they can make a guy think that they like him or whatever the case may be, or be going through a certain mood, so their external gestures may match that mood, but it don't have anything to do with an external representation where a guy may think, oh, she's angry, I don't want to talk to her, or whatever the case may be. A sun and moon square a lot of times don't have nothing to do with that. That's more like a trine or a conjunction. If she go to the club or wherever she going, or even out shopping, I'm gonna wear the bonnet on purpose or whatever. And girls look good in bonnets stuff when they more natural. But other than that, y'all know what I'm trying to say, right? Some girls do a turn off signal on purpose when they're going somewhere that they don't necessarily want to be bothered. The sun and the moon square female, though, it's not always like that. You know what I'm saying? Even though all females got that trait, depending on scenario and location and why you got to do certain things, but just in a natural base, more on a percentage scale or whatever. If she's putting up a frustrating mood, it has nothing to do with you. If you're the family member or the guy that's an interest or whatever the case may be, and vice versa. If she's trying to be nice, that's not for you to confuse that with she like you. That's for more trines and conjunction signs with the sun and moon, that they put the sign out there specifically what they mean. You know what I'm saying? The sun and moon square, females and things of that nature, sometimes it'll confuse you or whatever, because it's the square internally, and what they may show may not necessarily represent what makes them feel comfortable. So they may show trying to be nice doesn't mean they feel comfortable with you hitting on them. See what I'm saying? Like that. And then you sometimes, a lot of men may have came across females like that and cussed them out like they cussed out other females that may have did certain things like that on purpose, without understanding this quality of life and things of that nature. But for the most part, getting into like the cardinal signs, right? So cardinal sun signs, that'll be Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, right? So this is the signs that initiate and create. So they're always going to be doing that when it comes into their moon sign. So this is how you don't necessarily even have to know a person's time. But if you're around a person long enough and you know these energies, if you ain't never know their moon sign, you will be able to know it. You know what I'm saying? Always peep this out too, right? The ascendant. Now I can the ascendant is how something appear to be, right? So that'd be where you see a person in their personal space, right? I'm a Leo ascendant. See colors. You see, I'm in a bat cave or whatever in my own personal creative space, playing music or whatever the case may be. But I don't go try to express that outwardly because I ain't a Leo sun sign, and these ain't things I may react to from other individuals or try to give other individuals attention for because I ain't a Leo moon. See what I'm saying? So that's how the ascendant just is when you're paying attention to people. Now, when it comes into what a person is showing through their sun sign, right, is based off what they're interested in, right? So I'm an Aries. If you're around another Aries, and then I'm an Aries sun sign, right? You may hear descriptions of Aries into sports. I'm not into sports or whatever the case may be. So you might be like, oh, this is why astrology ain't right. No, it's nuance to it or whatever the case may be. My moon, check what a person is interested in, whoever you're around. Now, you on my page. On my page, what is this page about? Esoteric, spirituality, trying to expand more on things, add and change up on things of that nature in broad ways, mutable ways of seeing and feeling from things and bring it to a broad construction. You could travel in the mind on my page or whatever the case may be. Boom. These are things. So that's Sagittarius-like things. Boom. Always trying to add meanings and reasonings to stuff. So I'm a Sagittarius moon, right? Always trying to add. So that get filtered through my sun, initiating and create new ways of how to see and feel about mutable fire type stuff, spirituality, add meanings and reasons to things. So I'm always trying to initiate and create a new way of how to see and feel about add new meanings and reasons to things, or I mean expressions and meanings and reasons. My bad, meanings and reasons or whatever the case may be. So anywhere you find a Sag moon and an Aries sun, right? Anytime that there's something that you can see other people can look at and give meanings or reasons to or whatever the case may be, Aries is going to be that example on how to see it or feel about it in a brand new way. So whatever that is, whatever genre, whatever circumstance, whatever world view or whatever the case may be, that'll be a Sag moon and Aries sun. But for the most part, let's say if you a Cancer sun, Libra sun, Capricorn sun. Now let's say if you got a conjuncting moon, right? So this is an individual where you like to initiate and create your something personal. So you're just a person, if you're a Capricorn, you like to initiate and create a new way of how to think and be practical about something personal or whatever the case may be. So this is a person who likes to handle problems on their own. You know what I'm saying? They don't need other people bearing on their problem, how their problem decision-making qualities, abilities, and things of that nature. If it's a Cancer, right, a double Cancer, this is a person like to initiate and create new ways of dealing with the emotions and feelings about something personal. They don't need you always caring about their emotions. They like to handle their emotions on their own and things of that nature. Once you start to impede on that too much, you're going to make things moody for them, right? If it's a double Aries or whatever, this is an individual that likes to initiate and create new ways of how to see and feel about something personally that they're going through or whatever. So they don't need you creating no new perceptions, expressing it in no other way that they don't normally see it as, or try to show them that they need to express it or see it in a different way or feel about it in a different way or whatever. You're going to catch aggression in some way. If it's the Libra like to initiate and create new ways of how to think, and if it's a double Libra, initiate and create new ways of how to think and communicate about something personal in their life. So they need personal balance. A lot of times, these are those more self-centered. They play out kind of like Aries a lot of times. It's from a communicative lens. These are more self-centered, separate, don't really care about relationship Libras and things of that nature. If it's a Libra sun, Libra moon, they're more in a mission of having a relationship with themselves or someone or other people or family members that's on the same path as them. They don't care about separating from other individuals that's creating unbalance in their own life. They're in search of trying to create balance and fairness in their own life. If things ain't fair, things unbalanced from anybody, even family members, they dip on them and not care way faster than a Libra sun with another moon. You know what I'm saying? So you got to keep that in mind. If it's a Libra sun, Libra moon, they're not friendly like that. You know what I'm saying? They're more friends with themselves. They're more friends with themselves. And if you take that balance away from them and whatever that they do in the external world to make them keep that balance, you would become their worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? And they become warlike because they look at it like a form of injustice. So they're always in search for Venus within themselves. So that's how that play out when it's a conjunction. Now, if it's a trine If it's a trine energy based upon Aries, Sun, Capricorn, Sun, Cancer, Sun, or Libra, Sun. And if you have a trine, now if you're the Libra, that'd be Gemini or Aquarius. If you're the Cancer, that'd be Scorpio or Pisces. If you're the Aries, that'd be Sagittarius or Leo. If you're the Capricorn, that'd be Taurus or Virgo. So for the most part, the trine is initiating, creating your own or other, or leading your own or others' gifts. So you like to, if you're the fire sign, initiate and create new ways of how to see and feel from other people's ways of seeing and feeling, and come with an overall subjectory, and then lead as the example on how that overall subjectory should be presented in some way, shape, or form. If you're the air, Libra, you like to initiate and create a new way of how to think and communicate about how maybe this person, this thought, this person may think, this person how may communicate, and come with an overall subjectory in some way, shape, or form, and lead in some type of communication, or lead in some type of way of obtaining fairness and balance into a situation, because you then took all parties involved and then calculated it and like led in a leading representation of how all these things as one supposed to be in some way, shape, or form. As so for the Capricorn, right? You like to initiate and create new ways of how to think and be practical from this practical solution, this person maybe thought process, this person's solution base making, and then you take all that as a whole, and then you like to lead in an area that you think a suit all. You like to create a shoe size that'll fit all. And then you get frustrated when you in a situation where you feel like you ain't did good enough, or a person ain't appreciate all the effort you did. And sometimes even when it comes to the trines and stuff like that, when it comes to the sun and moon, sometimes y'all will overdo stuff. And then for the most part, nobody asks you to do all that. And then you still ask for the validation and stuff like that, because you know what this person need, you know what this person want, and you know how to blend it in with yours. And then y'all do all that. And then when you see other people not into that same type of energy and stuff like that, you start to self-doubt why you do all that or whatever, and blame others of not being like you or whatever. So you have to be careful of that also. Sometimes you have to let things be. Just because you can see what role to take and lead in doesn't necessarily mean it's not a reason why that person ain't taking lead in that area in their life. There's a reason for why that person ain't putting in the extra effort at that job y'all both at, and y'all both getting paid the same. And you think that this person just slow and retarded a little bit, until you start to realize that manager gonna take advantage of you and probably done that person the same way, which made that person work just slow as everybody else to still get paid, and ain't trying to prove no point that they got a lot more energy than someone else. You know what I'm saying? Based upon nothingness, opening yourself to take advantage of. Yeah. So a lot of times y'all got the peep game. Be aware of that. When you are the trine, you know what I'm saying, you got gifts, but your gifts can get taken advantage of. You got a lot of energy of your own to spread it out to others. So it ain't the conjunction, it's the energy of your own. So you're able to see yourself from multiple sides. But sometimes you take what you think others see, or what you think others may want, and what you think others may need, and then you play out a role that really, that role get ready to have you in a position of getting taken advantage of and stuff like that. And then you can have a dry heart and then not express your gifts to the highest maximum potential anymore, but because you rather do it and you feel more comfortable to yourself. Then you get into that conjunction energy even when you ain't in conjunction, because of the negative qualities that the external world may have gave you. So you have to be careful of that too, being the sun cardinal and the moon trine. Now, sextile, right? So the sextile energies is a 60-degree angle or whatever the case. So it's a different modality, different element, but just not opposite or whatever the case. So, you know, the sextiles to the Aries cardinal will be Aquarius and Gemini. Capricorn will be Pisces and Scorpio. Cancer will be Taurus and Virgo. And Libra will be Leo and Sagittarius. So that'll be the sextile moons if you're a cardinal sign, sun sign, or whatever the case. Now, here's where this play out. This is an individual who likes to initiate and create opportunities based on what their emotions is predicated on. So when a person start to emotionally connect to something and get motivated as like it's becoming a goal or whatever the case may be, then their actions be sold on only connecting those dots a lot of times. So a person, if they're unproductive and negative, they become opportunists. If a person is positive or whatever the case may be, they know how to create a lot of opportunities for themselves that other people may can't. Where trines may be more expressive, but just on their own time, so they're not in those positions to link other signs and other elements for it to go as far as it needs to go. Where the sextile energy allows the person moon sign to attract that other element that's needed for their sun sign and what they're expressing and things of that nature. So if a person is being productive, sextile sun and moon signs create opportunities for themselves or attract others that create opportunities for them and things like that. Now, a lot of times these individuals have to learn how to take it though. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they pause, no homo. Sometimes they take the wrong opportunities or feel like based upon their upbringing, they may have been validated in certain areas so much, they feel like opportunity is always going to be there. So sometimes these people talk highly about themselves where other people around them could kind of calculate, hey, you're only in that position because of X, Y, and Z, because you knew this person or because you grew up under that, or, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times sextile signs is in those type of situations and they have to be a little bit more self-aware before the opportunities, they could close their opportunities themselves. But they're always initiating a way to get into an opportunity or be an opportunist in some way, shape, or form. Now, if it's in conjunction, right? The in conjunction signs is just the 150-degree angles and things of that nature. So if you're Aries, in conjunction, it would be Scorpio and Virgo. If you're a Cancer, the in conjunctions will be Aquarius and Sagittarius. If you're a Libra, the in conjunctions will be Taurus and Pisces. If you're a Capricorn, the in conjunctions will be Gemini and Leo. So this will be your moon signs if you're one of the cardinal signs and things of that nature, and you already know your moon sign if you're a cardinal sign. But for the most part, in this area, this is a person who likes to initiate and create or lead into obtaining or trying to gain understanding or whatever the case may be. So these is the preachers, or these is the conspiracy theorists, if you will look at it that, or these is your wise individuals, or these is your people that's always trying to find the understanding to the common things that people don't understand, or whatever the case may be. Now, if they're left in an unproductive space in their life and didn't have healthy people around them, or they're not in a healthy position within themselves, then that misunderstanding become inverted. So a person misunderstand who they are or what to express, so they could fall short to being a people pleaser at times, or fall short to thinking that they need to do things what other people expect from them. And then they have to grow older in their life to start to realize that, no, it's about understanding what I want to do. It's about understanding how I feel, not trying to compare and contrast what other people going to accept first before I develop my true feelings and get into comfort zones into that crack. And then now I just realized that comfort zone was just based off how much I was people pleasing, and just because I was getting more of the reciprocation about something really didn't mean anything. I didn't even care about what I was getting. I didn't even care about that attention like that. A lot of times the in conjunction signs go through misunderstandings with themselves, even when dealing with people, and take a longer time than other signs with the sun and moon to find that true friend, find that true relationship, or find that true connection with oneself, where they don't have to care about if other people care about it or not to go fully for it. So you know what I'm saying? A lot of times it's weird, quirky energy too. A lot of in conjunction signs keep a lot of things to themselves that they can't help but to be interested in, and they know that other people will have a misunderstanding about it. So they work hard on creating scenarios in their life where they can have a space for that that's separate from the external world. And every now and then they create misunderstandings when they attract certain people in their life, or people that they already have in their life, and then certain responsibilities derive that may smother or pour over in that area. And then when your spiritual back against the wall and some explanation has to be expressed or whatever the case may be, every now and then that's where misunderstandings come from the external world, and a person may misunderstood why y'all was friends, or a person may misunderstood why y'all had that disagreement, or the person was misunderstood why y'all ain't this type of family member connection, or whatever the case. You see what I'm saying? Now, when it comes into the opposite, right, Cardinal, how's we already about an hour in? Time go fast. Jesus. How is it almost an hour in? Like, what the hell? Did we just step into a time chamber or something like that? Damn. All right, but look, check this out. All right, the opposite, right? Because I still got to do fixed and mutable. Now, when it comes into the opposite, right? Now, if your moon is opposite, so if you're Aries, opposite is Libra. If you're a Libra, opposite is Aries. If you're a Capricorn, opposite is Cancer. If you're a Cancer, opposite is Capricorn. So this is going to be a person that'll try to initiate and create some form of fairness and balance. But if they're left in an unproductive space, this is where they're at within inside themselves internally. So a person may be unbalanced until they go through enough experiences, and a lot of times they get better at age. But you know, if they could go through a lot of healthy experiences early in life, that'd be better. The sooner the better. But a lot of times these are people who are unbalanced within themselves, or always trying to create balance with people outside of themselves and separate themselves and their own problems for other people's problems first. And that's if they're positive, and then they'll learn way faster how to separate and obtain their own self at times, so they don't get too drained. But unproductive, it'd be a whole rabbit hole of not knowing what to express. Sometimes feeling comfortable doing this and realizing that's not what they want, or that's a mistake. Sometimes feeling like there's no reason to do certain things, and that was the things that they was actually supposed to do. That was the action that they were supposed to show. That was the feeling that they were supposed to express and things. And they go through a lot of those ups and downs when it comes to themselves and their relationships and stuff like that. And that's all opposites. And it's going to be filtered through the elemental clash based upon what's being opposite. Like if you're an Aries, you're going to be going through what to initiate and to express, or should you balance that with other people ways of expressing based off communicating and their thought process that you try to separate from because you want your own world. Or if it's the Libra, vice versa, right? Sometimes you got to balance. Is it okay to have your own space, or is it better to create this type of balance here where this person have their balance space that balance with mine's? But when it's not balancing, what do I do? Because if I change it up, do the whole ship sail, or whatever the case? Or do I have to build my own self up? But if I do that, that's just totally separating from creating balance with that. So am I creating more of a problem? It's like an internal battle you going through as a Libra and having an Aries moon. Capricorn sun, a lot of times you like, wait a minute, is it business or is personal or whatever? Should I stay hard and keep this emotion aside? Or no, my spiritual back against the wall, nothing's going to be right. I can't even think or work right, or I can't even feel sophisticated or feel like myself unless I get this emotion off, or unless I feel or someone else feel the way I feel, whatever. They don't know how hard I'm working on this, and just because they looking at it and feel, and I'm not allowing them to see me sweat and it look like I can handle everything. No. I got the same emotion they got when I'm consoling them. I got the same, you know what I'm saying? You be dealing with that as a Capricorn and Cancer moon. And if you the Cancer sun, Capricorn moon, you in some situation where like you already expressing moods and stuff like that, but a lot of times that's what gets you in trouble. A lot of times you like, yeah, I'm making everything comfortable or whatever the case may be, but this is hard. It's a hard time making everything comfortable. Can somebody else make something comfortable? Can somebody else make me relax? Where's the people that make me relax? Where's someone that can make me feel like when my grandma was still alive? Where's somebody that can make me feel like, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm working all this hard and stuff like that to keep everything. It seemed like I'm the only one caring about everything. It seemed like I'm the only one. It seemed like I got to separate from my job and what's practical in my life because of all this personal thing that's going on. And if I'm not taking care of the personal things, everything on crash. It ain't going to be no business or whatever. You going through that all 24/7. You know what I'm saying? 24/7. You feel like you got to work hard just to build up your emotions to make sure everything is smooth, because you feel like you upholding everything that everybody feel like they could just walk on. You know what I'm saying? To the point that even when it's surface level type things, you got to remind people that don't matter. Your job don't matter right now. These things matter, or whatever the case may be and stuff. And that gets hard at times, because that's like telling somebody to call off and they making more money than you or something like that. Like how that worked in Walt Disney World. That don't work at Walt Disney World America right now. You know what I'm saying? But hey, just shout out to my Cancers with the cat moons. You know what I'm saying? But when y'all get y'all life together and stuff like that, y'all know how to blend these two things together. You know how to get out there and make money and totally separate that from your personal life. That's what Cancer sun signs, Capricorn moons got to learn. If you're a Cancer sun, Capricorn moon, you know what I'm talking about. You know that's where all the mistakes came from and stuff like that. And that sweet spot you can get in where your job is your job and it ain't too many people in your business at home at that job or something like that. That's that sweet spot for you. That's that sweet spot. You know, that's where all those mistakes came from too. Every time you was trying to get out and build something and had too many people you close to, or try to make the people you built with too close to you, you know, that's when things get problems and stuff. You got to make your circle smaller again. You know what I'm saying? Stuff become all uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And things could look like they running smooth. Everybody making money and everything. Y'all could be at a good, well-oiled running machine business and stuff like that. Your mood gonna start switching up though. You're like, nah, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, it just feel weird. I let this person know too much about what's going on with my cousin. You know what I'm saying? This ain't even my you know what I'm saying? They just got on a job. I should have did that. And from the outside looking in, everybody got a good job. Ain't no problems at the job. You going through hell internally though, being a Cancer sun, Capricorn moon. Like, oh, nah. Nah, you know what I'm saying? You might create a self-sabotaging situation where you ain't got the job no more or something like that just so you could create the comfort zone. But this is what you be looking for your whole life. How to get that sweet spot where, boom, business could be business and it can all come back to the home and everybody kiss my ass at that job. You know what I'm saying? At that damn job. And when you get that sweet spot, boom, you good to go, Cancer, Sun, Cap, Moon. But that's what y'all really be searching for your whole life. It's just hard because you're initiating 2 routes and stuff. And sometimes your first couple of experiences and hard ones is trying to create too much business with close ones, some close people or something like that. They'll be the first people that rob you blind about something. They'll be the first people that manipulate your emotions. You got to start thinking like, oh, I can't lead and caring for building everybody else's circumstance. Nah, I got to care about my own circumstance. And then once I build that, boom, I can have that for that and then keep this for this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That good counterpartmentalizing energy that Capricorn be trying to teach to actually start showing through your sun in Cancer and not let everybody in your home. AKA not necessarily your physical home, but your comfort zones where you comfortably make money, where you comfortably make this. Sometimes you bring a family member or somebody you done met off the streets. You did in your comfort zone where you make money. The first thing you start realizing all business is personal. I can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? I'll separate these things. I need some balance in my life. I need to start saying stuff like that too. That they be always on those grounded situations. Now let's get into the fixed. Now, when it comes into the fixed signs, right? Now, that could be your sun sign being Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, or Leo. So, for the most part, now, when your sun and your moon conjunct each other, right? This is going to be, now, fixated energies just represent you being fixated. So, that transmutes into being stubborn if it's unproductive or consistent if it's productive. Because you're going to be fixated on something. If it's something that look like everybody like what's going on, it's productive. If it look like you just keep doing the same thing, but it's ultimately something retarded, you stubborn. You know, you hard-headed. You know, so you can't get out of that fixated air energy. You can't get out of that thought and the way you communicate that we don't like. You know, so go to yourself, Aquarius. Or you can't get out of that way of seeing, that fixated way of seeing and feeling about something. So we always know you get ready to express your ass and you think all attention is good attention, even if it's bad. It goes go somewhere on your own spotlight in the dark, somewhere in your own room, Leo. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. Or you might be fixated on your own way of thinking and being practical. So you think this is the only way of doing something, to the point that when other people doing things and flourishing and stuff like that, it take you a year, Mao, and 80,000 years, and Moses 80 cycles and 120 years cycle death for you to even reach up and be like, oh, okay, let me get fixated in that now. Be stubborn to yourself until you realize you're way behind as the turtle and the rabbit didn't won and you ain't winning as the turtle being a goddamn Taurus. And you could be fixated on your own way of dealing with your own emotions and feelings, and other people got different feelings about stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you might be excited about a feeling, and that feeling that you fixated in might involve another person, and you fixated in how you think they feel about you. They done switched up in your mutable sign, Pisces, Cardinal, switch to a new feeling and emotion like your Cardinal buddy, Cancer and stuff, and you still fixated. Then you get ready to get extremely let down. Now you got a grudge because, you know what I'm saying, you thought they liked you. So, you know what I'm saying? You thought I was feeling. You know what I'm saying? Whatever Ice Spice said. You thought I was feeling. You know what I'm saying? Now your feelings hurt. You didn't got stung because you thought somebody was feeling you or whatever. You got to now that extreme excitement, hold on, fixated feeling and emotion got turned into the opposite below version, feeling stuck emotion, a grudge. That excitement turned into a grudge. You know, y'all Scorpios be setting yourselves up for letdowns. Y'all always do that. Y'all gotta go sting yourself. Don't sting nobody else. Because you got a grudge and you think somebody did something to you. You had that fixated emotion. You didn't allow yourself to believe other people change emotions. So you want to get fixated and have them being stuck, trying to sting them, manipulate them, and get them stuck. Keyword, stuck in situations that was similar to how they made you feel. Stuck in your feelings. Oh, for that. Stuck in your scorpionic feelings. I'll pay you when I feel like it. Dude had to play. That must have been a Scorpio energy. Samuel L. Jackson. What is Samuel L. Jackson? Goddamn zodiac sign. He played that too smooth. You know what I'm saying? Because he looked at her like, what you mean? After dude said that, I'll pay you when I feel like it. You don't tell no Scorpio that. You know what I'm saying? Samuel L. Jackson zodiac sign. Or Sagittarius. He gotta have a Mercury and Scorpio or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Samuel L. Jackson moon sign. What's his moon sign? Virgo. Well, his moon sign. That's good enough. You know what I'm saying? It was detailed though. It was real detailed. He acted out real good. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you mean? Tat tat tat. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. But yeah, when it comes into these energies, right? Let's say if you are a conjunction. So your sun and the moon is both in fixed energies, or whatever the case may be. This is a person fixated, stubborn, or consistent on their own personal emotion problems about something. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times it's hard to get these people out of a rut. If Aquarius, hard to get them out of the way that they think about something, right? Even if you're trying to convince them, they might ghost you. Scorpio, it's hard to change how they feel about something, and you may not even know that's how they feel about it. So you'll completely feel that distant energy or whatever, or you'll always feel a sense of maybe they watching you, or maybe they're not fully expressing something. You'll start feeling that. That's what intensity is, or whatever. An aura, not necessarily scary. You know what I'm saying? Just a person got energies that ain't being released, and they're around you, so you picking up. So it's based on what you are aware of. If you're a negative or positive person, what you're going to make out of what you think that person in. And a lot of times when a person have to be in that space in the first place, sometimes may not be on good reasons, a lot of times anyway. Not all the time, but you know what I'm saying? When a person got an aura, what they sitting around thinking and feeling about that ain't so readily to be expressed. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some things that's petty enough that it ain't no purpose to express. Then there's a lot of thoughts and feelings that, you know what I'm saying, a person wish they could express that they don't express. Then it's like, wait a minute, what is that? You'll feel an aura after a while. You're like, does this person want to rob and steal from me? You'll feel it. You can feel it even if they ain't show them signs. Sometimes there was that J. Cole song that he was talking about his actual teeth, but you'll be thinking about, no, they smile is crooked. Then you're like, hold on, wait. It's like, see, they left elbow move a certain way when they spirit in that space with them thoughts. And like, if you sensitive to the senses enough, you'll be able to catch it. You'll be able to get away from that monkey mother before they get a chance. You know what I'm saying? Before they get, and that's how you stop something from a mile away in the spiritual world, because everything is location in the spiritual world. But for you fixed signs, that's what y'all got to learn how to do. And things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? You could sometimes miss the signs of something based upon you just being rooted on your thought, your practicality, your way of seeing and feeling about something, or your emotional stance on something, aka emotional stance, Scorpio, way of seeing and feeling about something, Leo, way of thinking about something and how you think it should be communicated. You know what I'm saying? Aquarius and Taurus, how you think something should be situated, or how you think something should be practical or whatever. So when you see people doing unconventional ways to go about something that we all want to do, sometimes you don't even look at that like that makes sense. You got to see this person actually making money off of it before you be like, oh, okay, maybe not. Other than that, you're gonna stay fixated in a conventional way of doing it, or whatever the case, or you'll create a conventional way of doing it. Whatever you started doing, you took enough patience on something to be the example of or the representation on how everybody else should do it, and be like, oh, that's what you need to do, and take patience on that, and so I don't mind all over the place, and it can actually be built. But if you're the conjunction, a lot of times y'all be rooted in your own stuff, especially y'all Aquariuses. Sometimes y'all can have manipulating people around y'all if you a sun and moon in Aquarius, a double Aquarius, because you'll have your own thought and your own way of thinking about how a communication style have been developed. And if you're around a slick Gemini, Libra, or another sign, and even an Aries at times, once they catch on to your pattern, and let's say you got something that they can try to start taking advantage of you about, the Aries, the Gemini, or the Libra will start expressing themselves and communicating in a familiarity that you're familiar with, because they didn't caught on that this is how you try to be unpredictable. So the Aquarius will create some predictability of being unpredictable, and other people would catch on where you start to try to be unpredictable at, and then start catering to your predictability. Therefore, you'll always be in that space of thinking that you in your own space, yet having a person think that they're your best friend and they still can get everything out of you that you don't know that they're getting out of you until situations start to happen. And then you start to realize, damn, how this person become more best friends with a person they only knew through me? How this person cooler with my auntie and my cousin and my family member than me? And you start realizing, oh, these the Aries that came over and took over, the Aries that came, or the Gemini or the Libra that showed you what you like, so you can't be in that position of thinking that you need to look at something from a distance or whatever the case may be, and played it real smooth. Now it's the person you can't get rid of. You know what I'm saying? The Aries became the person you can't get rid of. The Libra, the Gemini became the person you can't get rid of. Everything that become a success in your life become a success too. You can't get rid of them. Cancers could do y'all like that too, because it's the in conjunction. Y'all be connected based off terms of different reasoning. So the understanding that y'all have be aside the friendship or anything else or whatever the case may be. And if that go on long enough, it'd be a time you really want your own space that you can't, because the situation you created with the Cancer. So even in your own space, up the Cancer there, up the Aries there, up the Libra there, up the Gemini there. Oh, man. So y'all gotta be careful of these things sometimes too, being too fixated, being an Aquarius, double Aquarius. Learn how to read the room without thinking that you control the room and everybody else retarded all the time. Now let's say if y'all a fixed sign and it's a trine, you know what I'm saying? So if that's the Aquarius, that'd be Gemini and Libra moon. If that's the Leo sun sign, that'd be the Aries and the Sagittarius moon. If it's the what I said Aquarius, Leo. If it's the Taurus, that'd be the Virgo and the Capricorn moon. And if it's the Scorpio, that'd be the Pisces and the Cancer moon. So these are individuals that they like being fixated or stubborn or consistent on exploiting their own or other people's gifts. Now, the way how Walt Disney, shout out to Walt Disney, created the world based upon our social norms, it can play out positive. Based upon things dealing with like spirituality or things that don't necessarily take a representation or whatever, and you're just building yourself up, here's where it can become negative, because you can exploit others or exploit what you think others want from you or exploit what you think others like from you while totally separating the care from it yourself and how it looks. So this is a person that if it's a money play, they don't care what it is, where other people may have certain moral systems or integrity that don't allow them to do that for that check because how they may appear to be. Where the fixed sign sun with the trine moon sometimes know how to separate themselves from how they are seen for the sake of the objective goal or whatever. And that could work positive in some areas, and that could work against them in other areas and things of that nature. But they'd be the ones trying to explain it. They'd be the ones trying to justify. And the more the intelligent the spirit is, filtered through their sun and moon, their mind and their body or whatever the case may be, a lot of them could get away with being crash outs or doing something that may not always look moral to other individuals, but you could justify based off other means, like maybe a check or maybe a position in some way, shape, or form. The justifications, the fixed sign sun and the mutable moon, they know how to give good justifications for it if they're good enough, if they're wise enough as a spirit. The Aquarius know how to give this fixated thought that they developed for a long time that another person would be more blind on the fact of that, damn, maybe this is something I need to do. Maybe I need to be fixated on something long enough, and maybe that anything could be right. You will make a person believe that. The Leo will have that expression so much you'll almost feel weird when the Leo not expressing these energies in some way, shape, or form. You'll be like, damn, why you not showing yourself? Why you not expressing? That's when you'll know they down. They down, or something ain't going right, or whatever the case may be. They ain't exploiting their energies or whatever. How they see and feel about things and trying to find every area to express it, however the case may be. You know what I'm saying? If it's the Scorpio, right? All these energies is trying to exploit or whatever the case. The Scorpio will try to exploit their imagination or exploit their creativity or how they think they see others or something like that. So they'll make up like they talk to ghosts. If they think another person really want to talk to a family member, they'd come up with a way of making it seem like they know how to do it without internally knowing that they full of shit. You know what I'm saying? If it got something to do with the money. You know what I'm saying? That there'd be a ghost catcher in the woods all they want and stuff like that. Make all kind of Blair Witch made up stuff. You know what I'm saying? Totally separating from if they care about if it's real or not. They sit there and still know how to play it out. They know how to play all that suspenseful energy and stuff like that. And if it's a Scorpio sun, Pisces or Cancer moon, and sometimes they like to play little weird stuff on their family members and stuff to see how much a family member care or how much a friend might care and stuff like that. You know, let me not answer the phone because this is the way I set up the relationship. They know if I'm not answering the phone, that means I'm hurt. Like however you set up situations to make that you set up, and when these things is not taking course, a person could possibly come up with the idea that something may be wrong. This is what they do on their family members, and however the waters the Scorpio set it up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them go to jail to do it. I'm catching STD to do it. Oh, but you know what? Now, when it comes to the sextile. Now, so let me run through these real quick. I'm gonna be honest, hour in. Sextile energies, right? So that's gonna be opportunities and things of that nature. So if it's the Scorpio, the sextile energy is going to be Virgo and Capricorn. If it's the Leo, sextile energies is going to be Libra and Gemini. If it's the Taurus, sextile energies is going to be Cancer and Pisces. And if it's the Aquarius, sextile energies is going to be Aries and Sagittarius. So for the most part, with these moon signs, this is going to be creating opportunities. So you're going to be fixated, stubborn, or consistent on creating opportunities in some way, shape, or form. So, and creating opportunities based on the things that you're into. So whatever that you're into, that's the only thing you care about. How can I find an opportunity? What person is interested into the same thing I'm interested in? Oh, this person ain't interested in it. This family ain't interested in it. I don't really care about them like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're only really invested into creating opportunities for the things that you're comfortable with. And anytime you're around others that don't show as a link, even how you show your actions with that with the sun sign that represent something that can blend into what you're emotionally connected to or whatever. If it look too much like the same thing or it look too much like it ain't got nothing to do with it, then for the most part you will separate from it. If it look like it could be a link, but you can still play your role or whatever, or that thing can play its role and it could be a blending, then these is things like an opportunity that you'd rather go for. It even be things that you already got access to that you'll start taking advantage of or start taking for granted just for new experiences or just for an add-on or just for opportunity. So a lot of times you have to be careful of that too. Don't step on things you already have that could be better of a support system than whatever you think you need as opportunities. Sometimes unproductive sextile sun and moons, when it comes into the fixed energy, sometimes that could play out. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful of that, where you already got something, but you're looking for it elsewhere. Then when you find it elsewhere and then a situation play out, it take that situation as an experience to make you realize you already had that and you could have just kept that or whatever. Now you created a weird situation with both parties or both entities or both circumstances. So it's a lot of times where sextile sun and moon signs, you could have a family member, somebody that's close to you already know how to do something you need or already add on, and you will go through a whole bunch of retarded energies to have to stumble across. And sometimes it be when you at your downest time that you have to look back into the faces of people being like, damn, I was already here, you did better, just, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times opportunity, y'all have to be careful of that, being the sextile energies and fixed, but being a sun, Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus, or Leo. You know what I'm saying? Y'all make people around y'all already feel like you stepping on them or whatever, and you trying to find something better that they already got. And sometimes that's not always that they got it, but a lot of times they do. You know what I'm saying? And then when it comes into the opposition, right? So if it's the Leo, the opposition is the Aquarius. Aquarius opposition Leo. If it's the did I do the inconjunctions? I ain't do the inconjunctions. If it's the Taurus, it's Scorpio. If Scorpio, it's Taurus. So a lot of times this is balancing issues or whatever the case may be when it comes into the opposing energy. This is on being more concerned with blending. Being more concerned with blending or separating from situations in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? When you got the fixated energies and it's opposing. Like this is what you're more invested in. How can this work? Or how fast can I separate from something so I can have my own space? And it's like black and white. There is no work with area in some way, shape, or form when it comes into your relationships. When it comes, it's either something that you can be added to and it can be comfortable. You can fixate yourself in it, or you just never see yourself, can fixate yourself into it, or whatever. Better luck next lifetime for that job, for that relationship, for that circumstance, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times your situations have to be predicated on that. And when you got too many external people in your life trying to muddy the waters, right? This will make your life worse at times because you have to kind of do these things. You have to learn how to kind of compartmentalize. So you've been distracted by individuals that try to make you care about more than is this something I can fixate myself in, or can I totally detach? Anytime you got people, places, and things, especially people in your life that blur that lines, you become completely unstable, being the opposite sun and moon. You know what I'm saying? These are the people that's creating unbalance in your life, but they're going to make you feel like to create balance in your life, you have to do these things or whatever. So every now and then you have a confusion with how much effort to put into the external world and how much effort to put into yourself. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind too. Now, when it comes into the square energies, if for the most part, that's same sign. I mean, same modality, different sign. And so when we talk about squared up, that is if you have the sun and Leo, that'd be your moon being in Scorpio, Aquarius, or Scorpio, Aquarius, or Taurus. And vice versa. If your sun in Taurus, that'd be your moon being in not the opposite sign, my bad. But the squares. If your sun in Scorpio, your moon will be in Aquarius or Leo. If your sun in Leo, your moon will be in Taurus or Scorpio. If your sun in Scorpio, your moon will be in Leo or Aquarius. If your sun in Aquarius, your moon will be in Taurus or Scorpio. So that'd be the square energies, right? If your sun and moon is squaring. So when people got this square kind of quality and things of that nature, right? This is a person. This is a person. Ooh, where's the square? That's on more predicated, fixated, stubborn, or consistent on proving a point or resolving emotional issues in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? So this is a person that's more into proving a point or trying to resolve frustrations, because a person is always in some type of emotional frustration, or when it's something that they're interested in, they're always ready to express it and trying to prove it to others, when really they just trying to prove it to themselves. It's like your moon is in the same modality, but it's in a different element, and that element is trying to prove, hey, maybe we can do this job that we're both trying to do this way. And then when your sun catch it, right, instead of you understanding that you're dealing with this yourself, you express that outwardly. And your way of going about telling somebody what to do or expressing yourself throw people off. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful when you got that square sun and moon and fixed signs or whatever the case may be, because you already got this fixated quality. So every now and then, if you don't read the room, when it's time to express that to other individuals, it can become demanding, bossy, or you're telling somebody how to do something, not helping them do something, or whatever the case may be. And then you will get frustrated when they're not doing how you said it, because your fixated way that you built up on it so much built that sure energy, that validation energy, that if someone needs assistance, that's the energy that they lack. But the energy you got, it ain't the what. The energy is the how. And how you express that energy sometimes come across as too hard for other people, too fixated. You know what I'm saying? Too rooted. You make a person feel like they have to have a high standard. You have to reach your expectation of them in some way, shape, or form. So you got to be careful. You give a high demand on people of what you expect for them. So be careful of those energies at times, because you could create weird animosities, and when it's time for you to get help, there won't be any there. And you'll have somebody that's close to you, or even a hater of yours, can't wait to be in your face and be like, I told you so. You need help. I thought you was the shit. I thought you had it all together. I thought you was the boss. I thought you was demanding stuff. Look like you need a little assistance. You need some help. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful. You know, they hate being in these positions. Square signs hate being because it make them feel unstable. And fixated signs like to be stable on something in their relationships, their businesses, or however the case it may be. Now, when it comes into the in conjunction sign, the in conjunction is so if you a Scorpio or whatever the case may be, right? The in conjunction will be Aries and Gemini, with your moon sign. If you are a Leo, the in conjunction will be Pisces and Capricorn. If you are so that'll be your moon sign as an in conjunction. If you a Taurus, your in conjunction your moon sign should be Libra. Um, yeah, it should be Libra or Sagittarius if you're a Taurus sun sign. That'd be in conjunctions. And then if you're an Aquarius, your in conjunctions as a moon sign should be Cancer and Virgo. So for the most part, when it comes into these energies, right, the in conjunction sign, when it comes to the fix and having an in conjunction moon, this is a person that likes to be fixated, stubborn, or consistent when it comes into being more concerned with gaining an understanding or 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 gaining or gaining awareness in some way, shape, or form when it comes to your own or other circumstances. So a lot of times you could separate your own self for the sake of maybe something that other people want to learn, or maybe something that to show people that people could switch up on what they fixated on and do other things or whatever the case may be. It's like you're in an energy of trying to create a misunderstanding, but still create a fixated energy in some way, shape, or form. It's almost like throwing people off, and that's what you're fixated in. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like trying to protect people from knowing you predictable, and then that become a predictable quality in some way, shape, or form. So a person could count on you having a different opinion about something. A person could count on you switching up something. You see what I'm saying? It's like a fixated quality that always got some type of other angle to it, always got a misunderstanding to it, or whatever the case is. Sometimes that can play out negative, and sometimes that can play out positive, depending on if you're productive or if you're unproductive. But that's if you got like a in conjunction or whatever the case. You always play this consistent energy or stubborn energy just in a new way. Let's say if you're stubborn, right? You got a new way to be stubborn. You may have accepted somebody's advice and they see you accept their advice and you did the same mistake just in a different way. I'm saying this is a different way. So you ain't late for work because you busy cheating. You late for work now because you slept too late or whatever the case may be. So now when someone gave you the solution to stop cheating, thinking that's going to stop you from being late from work, that ain't had nothing to do. You just a person who like being late for work. And so you going to fulfill it with any pocket or whatever the case may be. You see what I'm saying? That's if it's on the unproductive end. You know what I'm saying? You're always creating kind of misunderstanding. A person, you might be doing something that look like it's predictable, but people misunderstand why you always in that situation. Now, positively, it can play out positive also if you're productive or whatever the case may be. You might be a person that always do this, but a person can never catch on how you always doing it or why you always motivated to do it or whatever the case may be. Or when a person think, oh, they got it together, they got it wrapped around their head, how you doing it, then once you start to show them what you're doing, they start to see, oh, they missed that part. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I ain't see that angle or whatever. So this makes you unique or whatever, but F productive. Now, when it comes into the fatal attraction, these is this how you'll be seen. So that's if your moon is this on the other side, like how Mercury would possibly be at times. Your actions sometimes show the sign of the moon, and you can get confused because they're not getting in each other way to create you to look at it internally or to get that actual attraction externally, right? So it'll be a situation where every now and then you're coming across in a way that other people may see you that you ain't know that they were seeing you in that light, and then it take that actual experience for a person to express that for you to be like, oh damn, I ain't know you seen me like that, or I ain't know you seen me. Or like a lot of times you go through a lot of those type of situations. If you a sun sign and wherever is that, and then your moon is just on the sign that's right next to your sun sign. You know what I'm saying? So you be any sign. If your moon is on right, or it's on the sign ahead or the sign before it, a lot of time you create those type of scenarios or whatever the case may be. Damn. Let me run through this real quick. All right, now mutable. Mutable is change, adjust, or add, or adapt. Change, adapt, adjust, or add to, or whatever the case may be. So the mutable signs, that'll be Sagittarius, Sagittarius sun, Gemini sun, Pisces sun, and Virgo sun, right? So let's say if you are now these are the signs I like to initiate. I mean not initiate, but be mutable and being able to adapt to their own or others. And in this case, Sagittarius, their own or others' ways of seeing and feeling about things. They like to be mutable and being able to adapt to their own and other people's ways of seeing and feeling about things. Virgo, they like to be mutable and be able to adapt to their own and other people's ways of thinking and being practical. Gemini, they like to be mutable and be able to adapt to their own and other people's ways of thinking and communicating. And then we got what's the one I left out? We did Virgo, we did Gemini, we did oh yeah, Pisces, mutable water, being able to adapt to their own or other people's ways of dealing with the emotions and feelings. So for the most part, that's how the mutable signs, they all get into dealing with their element in the concept of changing, adjusting, adapting, or adding to. You know what I'm saying? Even at times separating from if need. So even though separation more of a cardinal sign, but they could do that too. If the changing can't be there, if the adding can't be there, if the adjustability can't be there, then that they'll reach feeling like they're in a cage and just fully separate from the circumstance and the situation. Now, when it's a conjunction between the sun and the moon and mutable signs, this is individuals who like to change, adjust, or add to something that they're dealing with personally. So a person may not need you to add to what they're going through personally. They want to be the ones open to change up what they know they have to deal with personally. If they're going through something personally, they don't want nobody to know. They want to be to adjust, or just fully separate from being seen at the moment, or whatever the case may be. So they don't need no one else adding. They want to add, adjust, or handle their own circumstances and situations. And every now and then, they get a habit of trying to do that for other individuals. So if you got somebody in your life that seem like they always trying to tell you what to do or handle your problems and have a specific way of how it should be done or whatever the case may be, a lot of times this be these individuals because they hard on themselves about it with the mutable sun and the mutable moon. And they're always trying to see and think or feel or emotionalize or express and see it from the lens of other people's viewpoints and counterpartmentalize it from their own viewpoint, or even use that to even make up their own viewpoint a lot of times, and then come with a whole subjectory. And then a lot of times, if you, they family member or they friend, and you don't match that subjectory, here's where they become hard on you. Yeah, especially if y'all had parents that had double mutable or whatever the case may be. These would be the parents that always to even steer you in the right direction. They may throw examples of other people y'all aware of and they kids and be like, hey, you could just be like Miss Sally up the street child, or you could just be like that. Look, they always go to school, or something. They all, you know what I'm saying? It'd be something like that where they add, adjust from other people's stuff to develop their own viewpoint and then come up with a whole way of how something to be. And every now and then they dump all that energy on people that they're close to when it comes to the mutable signs, sun and moon, and being a conjunction, which would be Sagittarius, Pisces, Gemini, or Virgo. Now, when it comes to the trine, right? Now, the trine is being able to change, adjust, or add to their own or other people's gifts. You know what I'm saying? So this is a person who know how to boost and cheer other people up, cheerleader energy, right? But a lot of times may lack cheerleading energies themselves when it comes to proving it to other people. They can sit there and do their thing all they want by themselves and be creative at it, actually more better at it than other individuals. But when it comes time to proving it to others, and certain times when it ain't really cool to be trying to boast and stuff like that, it's positive. When it comes time for you to get yours and be in a certain position, you may retract from it and feel like, well, I don't gotta prove myself because you already built up all this comfortable energy of being able to do it yourself. But if no one else know you know how to do it that good, what point is it? Or whatever the case may be. And sometimes you'll miss opportunities being a mutable sign and having a trine moon or whatever the case may be. So if you're a Sagittarius, that'd be an Aries or a Leo moon. If you a Pisces, that'd be a Scorpio or Cancer moon. If you a Gemini, that'd be an Aquarius or a Libra moon. And if you Virgo, that'd be a Taurus or a Capricorn moon or whatever. And every now and then, all that comfort zone that you develop on your own time of being good will be higher on a percentage scale of when it's time to prove it to others, and you doing that same exact
percentage scale of it or potential of it or whatever the case may be. And it might have been a lot of times in your life where you realized the outcome of a situation was best when you did these things. But then it might start to build up where it's going to be those small pockets in life, like those one of a lifetimes, twice of a lifetime circumstances that you may take the side of where you thought you was doing the right thing, other than, no, you need to prove and show that you're better than everybody in that world or whatever. And just because you're comfortable more to yourself and develop a disdain for having to prove it to others because of how it may appear to be by you being too focused on the negative attributes of people who may have did that with ego or whatever the case may be. Sometimes you pass up on being seen the way you need to be seen, or opportunities that was for you, even when it comes to relationships and stuff like that. So you got to be careful when you have mutable sun with a trine moon. So keep that in mind. Now sextile moon, right? Now this is going to be, if you are the Sag sun, this is going to be Aquarius or Libra moon. If you are the Virgo sun, this is going to be the Scorpio or the Cancer moon. If you are the Gemini sun, this is going to be the Leo or the Aries moon. And if you are a Pisces sun, this is going to be the Taurus or the Capricorn moon. So for the most part, when it comes into the sextile energies, right? This is change, the ability to change, adjust, or what you always trying to act on. Changing, adjusting, or adding or separating from, or especially adding or trying to change to, or adjust, right, to opportunities that you internally strive for, or whatever the case. So this is what you're constantly trying to change and adjust. And here's the thing, right? When it comes into a mutable sun, sextile in the moon, sometimes you can have something thrown on your lap and you want it tweaked your way, and you can make things run. Sometimes you could get a relationship that's just for you, and you invest yourself into finding something not right with it, or finding something to tweak. Like, you're always trying to find an opportunity, even when the opportunity is there at times. You always try to see, well, maybe this person see it this way, so let me add this to it. No, it's already good just for you. And here's the thing too, sometimes you can be too self-aware to the point you pass up on good opportunities when it comes to jobs or relationships based upon being too invested how you think others may see it. How you might think, oh, this person got the opportunity to see me this way, so let me not get in this relationship. Let me not get this job. Or, yeah, I like this person, but if I get in a relationship with them, this other person that I know don't like me, I might stop all possibilities from that ever happening, even though I don't like them. I just don't want to stop no possibilities. Like, it's a lot of confusion that you'll create with yourself having a mutable sign, sextiling your moon. You know what I'm saying? You'll go through a lot of confusions and stuff like that, and then don't even know when you got an opportunity right in front of you that's just for you. Here you go trying to adjust it. Well, maybe it's just not right. Maybe this too good to be true. Let me create some toxicity. So y'all got to be careful too, being a sextile moon if you mutable sun. Now, when it comes into the square, right? The square signs, that's basically the same space, but just different sign, same modality, same space, different sign, or whatever the case may be. So this is change, adjust, or add to frustrating scenarios, or forced to be a natural problem solver, because these are energies you're already dealing within yourself and things of that nature. Because if you're the Sagittarius, this means you have a moon in Virgo, or you have a moon in Virgo or Pisces. If you're the Pisces, this means you have a if you're a Pisces sun, this means you have a moon and Gemini or Sagittarius. If you're the Gemini, this means Gemini sun, this means you have a moon in Virgo or Pisces. And then if you're the Virgo sun, this means you have a moon and Gemini or Sagittarius. Pardon me. So this is a person a lot of times that have an emotion that's in one area, but to express it, it's in the same area, just through a different lens, a different element, and things of that nature. So a lot of times, like if you're the Virgo moon and Gemini sun, you may have this emotion that make a practical solution about something, but may not know how to communicate it or whatever the case may be. So you become nervous on if you're communicating it right or whatever. You want to make sure you're communicating it just right, so you worry too much about it or whatever. Or if it's the other way around, if you're the Virgo sun and Gemini moon, you feel more comfortable with trying to get information or receive information or try to communicate with something. But a lot of times you start to look through the practicality of it. Oh, but it may not be worth communicating with it because this doesn't make sense, or it's not worth thinking that, you know what I'm saying, thinking about it that way, because when I analyze it, it's making my brain hurt and I'm worrying too much about what was said or whatever, or this information that may not be, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times it's like an internal frustration. That's the same way with the Sad Sun, Virgo moon, and things of that nature. You're extra critical about how you express yourself and how you think others may see you. So you look into you think sometimes you be looking into the details of how others look into details, where really you're just coming up with your own details about yourself. And a lot of times you be so self-critical, the same things you try to hide, the way you express yourself through the Sad Sun, having that Virgo moon, the way you express yourself to hide these details or to hide what you think may put you in a vulnerable position, be the very same thing that expose it. Whether either you overcompensated it, that area, and made people focus on it and come up with their own thoughts, or you worried about it too much, so the expression you did to not worry about it, the thing you did make people think you're worried about something, then they catch on to what you're actually doing. So a lot of times it built a whole lot of frustration with how you try to make sense in your practical life and your physical body and things of that nature. But then when it comes to your way of expressing it, a lot of times you express it almost to the point you make people look at your expression like you're trying to hide the very thing that you develop as an expression to make you think you hiding something. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of these things ain't worth hiding at all. It's just you're too self-aware. And then you jump into other people's ways of seeing and feeling about things. And a lot of times these ain't even the way that they see or feel about it. But for the most part, you have to be careful of these. You develop internal frustrations. But all these alignments be playing out and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You try to make yourself perfect. And with the Sad Sun, Virgo moon, the very traits you take to try to make yourself perfect is what make other people point at the thing that's not perfect. So a lot of times you have to learn, don't give something attention. That's what the Sag Sun, Virgo moon be having to learn. Don't give some attention. And it's that easy. But you be trying to be the truth so much, you end up doing that to yourself in areas where other people don't have to and be in their own little comfort zones. You know what I'm saying? You create too much static, uncomfort zones for yourself where it don't have to be. But a lot of times fire signs, comfort zones be uncomfortability. You know, they try to learn how to gain comfortability in uncomfortable situations. So fire signs sometimes deal with situations better when they're around others who can't deal with that situation. If a fire sign sometimes just have to deal with something themselves, they don't really care too much to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be something that a fire sign is scared to do, but if they with someone or around others that's scared to do it, the fire sign somehow the scared disappear. Somehow they overly charged of wanting to do it. It's like, it's weird. And I'm a fire sign. It's like that. It could be something like heights or anything. Like stupid stuff. Like I ain't scared of heights, but I am scared of heights. If it's something I gotta do by myself, bungee jump or whatever the case may be, I don't want to do that. I'm scared. I don't want to do that stuff. Let me be around somebody and be like, man, I never want to bungee jump. Hey, let's go bungee jump tomorrow. That's the only time I got passion for it. If it's something just to come up myself, the hell with bungee jumping. I'm scared to death. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why it's like that with fire signs. It's just like that. It's just like that. It's just like that. Now, for the most part, now when it comes to also, I guess it's the aspect of scene, or just have to have a scene energy there or something, or have to have an expression energy there. If you there and it ain't nothing to express, the hell with it. You know what I'm saying? But if it could be expressed, then that's, I guess, I don't know. It's weird. But back to the mutable signs. Let's say we on to the square. Square brings frustrating scenarios or forced to be a natural problem solver. So that's what we just break it down. If you are the square mutable between the sun and the moon, Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo, or Gemini. Now, in conjunctions, or whatever the case may be. Now, the in conjunction signs, 150-degree angles. So if you're a Gemini, the in conjunction would be Capricorn and Scorpio. If you are the Virgo, the in conjunction will be Aquarius and Aries. If you're a Virgo, the moon sign will be Virgo or Aquarius if the in conjunction. If you are, I said Gemini. If you are a Sagittarius, your moon sign will be Taurus or Cancer as the in conjunction. And if you are, what did I say? I said Virgo. Did I say Virgo? Yeah, Virgo and Pisces. If you are the Pisces, the in conjunction will be Leo and hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, Leo and Libra. So Leo and Libra moon sign will be the in conjunction for Pisces. Now, for the most part, here's the thing. Now, this is change, adjust, or add to misunderstandings that you have when it comes to internally or with other people. Like there's a grand thing that a lot of people may misunderstand, especially when it comes to like religion or things of that nature. The mutable sun that in conjuncts with their moon, this is a warrior for these things. This is a person that's trying to understand these things for themselves. Like anything that's, let's say if they're around people and a person is expressing themselves like they don't understand the full context of what they're involved in, or they don't fully understand the context of why they feel a certain way or whatever. Here's your informative person. Here's a person who studied these things, almost to the point that a person would absorb themselves into other people and forget about themselves and know more about others than themselves. Then when it's time to know these qualities about themselves, it's only the ability of knowing how to know others. So a lot of times this could become helpful, but it can become damaging when it comes time for a person to be in search for their own path. They may misunderstand what's their path. They may think their path is helping others. It's good for Panethropist energies. It's bad for carving out your own world. And when you start to manifest too many people get taking advantage of you, or when you start to see too much slip away of the stuff that God gave you for the sake of you thought God gave it to you to give it to others. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful of those energies being in conjunction. If you're a mutable sun in conjunct with your moon, you will live your life for others at times. But if you're in a productive, if you're in a productive energy, then the things you do can help others while you're still carving out your own space. And you could be seen as an example on how others could do things before they make too much of you as a crutch. And then when it comes into the opposition energies, right? That's so if you're the Sag, that's Gemini moon. If you're a Gemini sun, that's Sag moon. If you're a Pisces sun, that's Virgo moon. If you're a Virgo sun, that's Pisces moon, right? So I think Michael Jackson was a Virgo sun, Pisces moon. I think. But for the most part, don't quote me on that. But here's the thing, right? This is going to be adding, adjusting, separating, or trying to adjust to some form of fairness, or the most sufficient way possible to separate from something. People, places, or things where all parties are still cool about something. You know what I'm saying? So that's the energy when you have that opposite. You try to separate, but these are people who know how to separate from relationships, but not on bridge burner scenarios. And if it is on that, it's due to another person fault. And this person could be like, well, I did my part. Whatever that person doing, they're the toxic one in some way. And it's every now and then, depending on living conditions and circumstance and that spirit inside of that mind and body and chakras and zodiac and elements and stuff like that, a person's still just toxic themselves. But, you know what I'm saying, higher on the percentage scale, or most of the time, when a person is a mutable sun and their moon is opposing, a lot of times they be trying to gain balance, but it's always higher on the percentage scale on the foundation of being more considerate of others, because mutable signs like to see themselves and others' positions from their elements and come to a full trajectory of it. So a lot of times, this is a person who may take more of the effort of the relationship, who may steer the sailor of the relationship and be the steering sailor of the relationship, and may be like, I don't even want this person to be the sailor sometimes, because we're just going to be cursing sailors. And every time this person steer the ship, we going off the cliff or whatever the case may be. I actually want to take this job. I actually don't want them. I actually want them to create more of a position of doing something else or whatever. And if they're not doing that, as this little balance that I would think that would be in my mind. Then that's when I'd be like, all right, I don't want to be a sailor, or I want to be on this relationship anymore, even if it's going to the promised land. That's not what's keeping me here, the money. That's not what's keeping me here, the security. I'm tired of me having to be a certain way, and that's the only way this relationship is comfortable, or whatever the case may be. But yet you could do this, you could do that, and be all over the place. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times it'd be those kind of situations when you have opposition and stuff like that. It's hard to create balance with others that take advantage of how much effort you put in for the balance to even be there, because you already did a lot of these things with yourself. So when you attract others who don't do these things with themselves, it take you a while to realize everybody don't do that. So those circumstances be playing out before you realize that, as you willing to take more of what you think this person don't see, yet you attracted them, or yet this circumstances and you involved in it. So you have to play a role, and that's their role or whatever. And then it takes a while for you to realize their role is unaccepting if you're taking more of the baggage, or your role, you're going to start valuing yourself. Pardon me. You're going to start valuing yourself more when you start to realize all your efforts don't have to be in like eggs in this person's basket. This person could motherfucking kick rocks with John Clethar open toe sandals on. You know what I'm saying? Really, they could go headbutt a street pole, or they could go goddamn skateboard with no socks, no skateboard or shoes on at your local curve on goddamn block and city street in the hood. Now, I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight Boss Beef, you know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind on that Terry's Moon. I'm the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry God through these responsibilities. I'm about to release this old Ohio player Kukuski mixtape. I'm going to go for the night. Erectus Swah, Hell, Hold That, Yahoo, Massasoit, Mama Natoy, Masasaki.